Today, we're diving into some interesting news about the iPhone 16 series and why the US is getting an exclusive version yet again. We've seen this trend before, and Apple is sticking to its strategy by giving the US market features that the global versions won't get. So let's break down what makes the iPhone 16 models in the US different from the rest of the world. Apple is known for releasing different versions of its iPhone series even within the same model. This time around, the iPhone 16 series comes in several variants depending on the region, and the US gets an exclusive edge. Specifically, we're talking about the iPhone 16 Plus Model A3082, iPhone 16 Pro a 3083, and iPhone 16 Pro Max a 3084. These US models come with two key features that you won't find in the global versions. The first major difference is support for ultra-fast mmWave frequencies. These are used by certain carriers like Verizon for their 5G networks, especially in larger cities. If you're unfamiliar with mmWave, it's a type of 5G that offers significantly faster speeds and lower latency than traditional 5G. Sounds amazing, right? Well, there's a catch. While mmWave can offer incredibly fast speeds, it has some serious limitations when it comes to range and penetration. That means the signal doesn't travel very far and it struggles to pass through walls or even your hand. In fact, this is why the mmWave antenna on the iPhone 16 is notched on the side of the phone. If the antenna gets covered, the signal could drop, so Apple designed the phone to work around this issue. But why does this matter in the US? The mmWave network was first tested here, and Verizon bet big on it. Although it hasn't taken off the way many expected, some areas still rely on it for fast, reliable service. Because of this, Apple has to ensure that the US iPhone 16 models can support this specific 5G technology. Even though it might not be widespread, those in big cities will definitely benefit from having it. The second difference is that the iPhone 16 series sold in the US comes equipped with a faster 5G modem. It's an upgrade from what we saw in the iPhone 15 models, and it's designed to work perfectly with the network speeds offered by US carriers. This is great news for anyone looking to upgrade because you'll be able to take full advantage of the fastest speeds available. For comparison, the global versions of the iPhone 16 won't have the same mmWave support. And while their 5G speeds will still be fast, they won't match the top-tier performance of the US models. So, if you're the US, this is definitely a feature to keep in mind when considering your next upgrade. Moving on to the second big difference, let's talk about SIM cards. The iPhone 16 models sold in the US will continue with Apple's eSIM-only approach, meaning there's no physical SIM tray. Instead, users have to rely on a virtual SIM card, which is more convenient in some ways, but also has its downsides. In other regions like Europe and Asia, people are more accustomed to using dual SIM phones. This allows them to have one local SIM for everyday use and another for travel or taking advantage of different carrier plans. In contrast, US iPhone users are stuck with just an eSIM. This concept has been slow to take off in the US because carriers aren't exactly eager to make it easier for people to switch to the competition. But Apple has been pushing eSIM for a while now, and it looks like the iPhone 16 series will follow in the footsteps of its predecessors. So why is Apple focusing on these exclusive features for the US market? A big part of it comes down to how carriers and networks operate in different regions. In the US, the 5G mmWave network is still in play, even if it hasn't taken off as expected. Apple wants to make sure that its US customers can use the full potential of their iPhone 16 models on these networks, the eSIM-only system. That's it for today. What are your thoughts on the US exclusive iPhone 16 features? Let me know in the comments section. As always, see you in the next video. In a month's time, the iPhone 16 Pro Max will succeed the iPhone 15 Pro Max and take on the mantle as the best and most advanced iPhone out there. Although there's plenty of time until September and a lot can change, we seem to know a lot about the upcoming top iPhone model based on rumors and leaks. How is the iPhone 16 Pro Max shaping up against its predecessor? What's changing and what's staying the same? Let's see how the iPhone 16 Pro Max shapes up against the current best iPhone Apple has in its roster. First up, let's talk about design and size. The iPhone 16 Pro Max will inherit the same design language as the iPhone 15 Pro Max, employing the same titanium frame with a completely flat screen. The major difference between the iPhone 16 Pro Max and the iPhone 15 Pro Max will be size. The upcoming iPhone screen will grow to 6.9 inches across, a significant bump over the iPhone 15 Pro Max's 6.7-inch display. To achieve this, they're likely shrinking the bezels down even further and making the phone itself slightly larger overall. As per the rumors, the iPhone 16 Pro Max will measure 163mm in height and 77.58mm in width versus 159.9mm and 76.7mm for the iPhone 15 Pro Max, respectively. A small but notable change, all things considered. The iPhone 15 Pro Max debuted with an action button instead of a mute switch and a USB Type-C port at the bottom, so those two features will be carrying over to the newer model as well. However, the iPhone 16 series will be scoring another button, dubbed the Capture button. Colors-wise, the iPhone 15 Pro Max was available in 4 understated and titanium-inspired colors. We've heard that Apple might use another titanium processing technique that will make the iPhone 16 Pro Max glossier and also more capable of retaining colors. Moving on to display differences. As mentioned, the iPhone 16 Pro Max will come along with a significantly larger display, measuring at 6.9 inches across. Aside from the size, we don't clearly expect any other major changes. We're certainly getting a liquid Retina XDR display with an OLED panel delivering superb colors, contrast, and exceptional maximum brightness. The screen will support 120Hz ProMotion refresh rate, making scrolling through the interface and on-screen content way smoother. Now let's delve into performance and software. The iPhone 16 Pro Max will feature a second-generation 3nm chip, possibly dubbed Apple A18 Pro. As one can imagine, we expect that the Apple A18 Pro will have better performance than the Apple A17 Pro. Due to the heavily rumored focus on AI for both iOS and the iPhone 16 range, we expect that the iPhone 16 Pro Max will come with a much improved neural engine to take care of all the generative AI features. The iPhone 16 Pro Max will also be a first to debut iOS 18 with a focus on artificial intelligence features. The new iPhone 16 Pro Max will also support faster Wi-Fi 7 and a more power-efficient 5G modem, keeping you future-proofed on the connectivity front. Let's talk about the camera. As the iPhone 15 Pro Max delivers a host of important camera features, chief among which is the new 120mm telephoto lens, the iPhone 16 Pro Max could finally address one of the forgotten cameras that hasn't recently scored any significant overhauls, the ultra-wide. Analyst Ming-Chi Kuo believes that Apple will be introducing a 48-megapixel ultra-wide camera on the iPhone 16 Pro Max. When it comes to audio quality, iPhone Pro Max devices are always up there with the best, setting the benchmarks for all other manufacturers to measure up against. The iPhone 16 Pro Max will be no exception. The same generally applies to haptics too. iPhones are arguably the best devices when it comes to haptic feedback, giving us precise and accurate vibrations that are sufficiently strong yet not overpowering. Lastly, battery life and charging. The iPhone 16 Pro Max will reportedly feature a much larger 4,676 mAh battery compared to the 4,422 mAh battery in the iPhone 15 Pro Max. Charging-wise, we haven't heard anything about a potential charging speed increase, but we hope to see one on the iPhone 16 Pro Max. So far, the iPhone 16 Pro Max is shaping up to be a logical improvement to the iPhone 15 Pro Max, delivering key upgrades in important areas like screen size, performance, AI, and battery life. Thus far, we haven't heard anything particular about a potential price increase, so it's safe to assume that the iPhone 16 Pro Max will start at $1,199 for the 256GB version. Of course, if there's an iPhone 15 Pro Max in your pocket, then you'll probably have few reasons to upgrade to the iPhone 16 Pro Max. Stay tuned for more updates on the iPhone 16 Pro Max as we get closer to its release date. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for the latest tech news and reviews. Thanks for watching. Until next time.